Ladies and gentlemen, now joining us on this episode of Chasing It, none other than the unofficial mascot of the NFL, Ryan Fitzpatrick is here. Yes! Yes!
Oh, Fitzmagic, baby. I love it.
What's up, dudes? Chase, you already got a show named after you? That's huge, man.
It's all Trey. You know, Trey wanted to call it Winging It, and then we ended up with Chasing It. So it's all
That
good.
is that is a lie. That is a lie, and I will call you out on your lie because the company said they wanted to call it that. And I said, I like Chasing It better, and that's what we went with.
We're company men. We're company men.
Oh, he believes you. You freaking quarterbacks, man. But anyway,
Quarterbacks
before we get
together,
into anything, I want to get into the text message that got Ryan on the show because I think there are two kinds of people that do texts, and apparently Ryan and I are different kinds of people. I texted him on Sunday and said, "Hey man, can you jump on the show I'm doing with Chase Daniel, 15 minutes, we could noon to whatever, we'll tape it at this time, but whatever, be flexible." So 24 hours go by and I don't hear anything. So then on Monday I sent a follow-up text which simply read, "Hey bud, just making sure you got this." And then almost immediately he texted me, "Yeah, let me know. Gosh, you're so pushy."
You had me at Chase, you had me at Chase. But sometimes I was at soccer games in Tucson. So, I was locked in, ready to go, and I just forgot to text you back. So I appreciate
You have 7 kids, right? Or 7?
He has like
how
30,
many?
37 children. He has as many kids as teams he played for, I think, is what it is.
Unbelievable.
Pretty much, yeah.
So-
They were all born in different cities, so.
Well, that's just a
wild.
testament. That's a testament to your willpower and your stamina, if you know what I mean. So I guess, are there two kinds of, because I get a text, I try to respond right away. And there are other people that don't do that. Like Ryan is one of those. For example, if you text me and I don't respond, that means I don't want to talk to you ever. and I know. I was a little hurt, Ryan. All the things we've been through. When you wanted to pass the CBA, you didn't have social media. Who did you text your video to put it out there?
Yeah. Okay. So I've already done your podcast. So how many times am I going to owe you for that one text?
Zero. None.
I enjoy talking to you. So I'm happy to be on.
All right. So we were sort of joking when we said off the top you are the unofficial mascot of the NFL. But I think that kind of happened. Chase, wouldn't you agree? Like somewhere in his career, he went from the plucky 7th round pick out of Harvard to like the unofficial, "Hey, it's Ryan. Look at him."
There's no doubt. And honestly, like I got a story to tell, and this is hilarious because we were just talking about your years in Buffalo from 2009 to 2012. I was talking to someone about this. When you were, in my opinion, playing some of the best, most exciting ball you've ever played, okay? The quarterback room in New Orleans, in 2009, it was Brunell, me, and Breeze. And then it was Breeze and I for 3 more years. Every single week on Tuesday, before we started our film study, we were throwing Ryan Fitzpatrick film. And we would watch, and there would be some of the most amazing throws and amazing plays you'd ever see. We ended up, I don't know if you knew this, we ended up nicknaming you the Honey Badger because the Honey Badger just don't give a shit. And literally, Drew called it, and we would just go through your plays and be like, "Holy cow! Like what in the world?" It was the best thing in the world.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude. I had one of those careers where I was all over the place, and I really just got to go out there and play. And there was a lot of stuff that was unorthodox. There were a lot of risks that were taken, but I know that the guys that I played with always loved me because they always knew I was going to give them a chance. And it was pretty fun throughout the years.
It really was. I mean, but when did you feel that? Like, when did you feel the transition from yourself to like being, okay, here's a guy who can play, come in, start 4 games for us, whatever, do this, do that, get opportunities, to being sort of, hey, it's that Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic guy, pew, pew, pew. Like, when did that happen?
Pew, pew, pew.
Well, I'll tell you, so after my time with the Bills, I got cut after the 2012 season, went to Tennessee, and then went to Houston in 2014. So being able to learn from Bill O'Brien and George Gotsey, that New England offense in 2014 shifted kind of my perspective. And, I would even go back and watch some of the Bills games like you, Chase, and be like, whoa, this is wild.
I'm telling you.
This is
insane.
wild. Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like that really helped me throughout my career. 2015, I was with the Jets, probably had my best season. 2016, awful season, was totally done with football, just sucked the life out of me that whole season. So after 2016, everything from then on out was just icing on the cake, and ended up going to Tampa. I had the start in 2018 when Jameis was suspended, where I went 400. Chase, were you in New Orleans?
No, I think he was in
2018, no, Chicago.
Chicago. He was in Chicago.
But everyone saw it. Don't worry. Everyone watched. That was me and Mitch
like,
Trubisky. We put on those.
Yeah, but that was like so that 2016 year when I thought I was done with football and wanted nothing to do with it. The rest of my career after that, it was just icing on the cake, and really enjoyed all of it.
Yeah, and I think it was honestly after one of those 300-400 yard games. When you put on Deshaun Jackson's outfit and your chest hair matched your beard, I like if I had to pin it down, I think that's the one where like, hey, this is the guy, right?
Yeah, I mean that changed the trajectory, not of my career, but maybe just the way that people viewed me. Because in 2011, I think is where Fitzmagic kind of started. We beat a couple teams early, Patriots, and last second win versus Oakland. But then it really caught fire after that Deshaun moment. And, some of the commercials that I've done and things like that, a lot of it is pointed towards that, like, funny little moment. But, yeah, that definitely changed. Maybe I no longer became, like, the Harvard nerd or whatever people knew me as, but more of that moment.
Yeah.
I feel like you really embraced it, though, too. Like, you've completely embraced it. Like, my question is, like, how... Like, from your career, 17 years, like, did you end up wanting to, like, go into media, or did it just sort of get thrown in your face, like, I'm going to be good at this? And that was my turning point. I'm like, dude, this guy has got a hell of a career outside of just playing quarterback.
I never, honestly, and it's very honest, like, I never even thought about it. I was in the moment trying to figure it out every year. Okay, where are we moving to? What schools are my kids going to? What soccer teams are we signing up for? And I just try to live in the moment everywhere we were. And then I got hurt my last year in Washington and kind of had that whole season on IR of like, okay, I think this is the end. What's the next step going to be? And just the timing of Amazon starting up their Thursday night stuff, just it couldn't have been better. I could not be happier than where I am right now with the team I'm with, but also just being a part of Amazon. And Chase, we were talking about this before we came on, but like that culture and being able to meet some of the people, not just that are in that production that we do, but just around the buildings, and such an amazing place with so many talented people. It's a lot of fun to be with.
Well, yeah, you and I actually texted and talked about that because you were trying to figure out whether or not you wanted to do it, right? So what made this the choice you made the right choice?
Well, I think at that point it was, if I don't do this, and what am I going to do? Like, what else am I going to do? So I decided to dive into it and try it, not knowing if I was going to like it or not. And I'll tell you, I think one of the big things with what we do with the pre, half, and post game show, instead of being an in-studio show, we are there on site. So, for example, last week in Philly, that we were outside first for the first half hour of our show, but that crowd was so unbelievable. So to be able to be in that and to feel that, and to just get a great vibe. Crazy enough, I never played in Philadelphia in the regular season of my career. I played the Eagles 7 times. So that was the first time I had been able to feel that atmosphere and be in it. But being a part of these games on site, getting to talk to players and coaches and old trainers, it just I can't go wrong sticking with this and really enjoying it, because we had a great year last year and the cast was really fun too. A bunch of clowns.
Well, I think there's something. Chase,
it just seems like you've and we've talked about it. Like you said, it just seems like being on site at the games is like where it's at, and that's like the closest thing to being able to play. Right? It's like you get to see all the people that you were with, you get to see all the trainers, the relationship. And I tell this to people all the time. It's like, hey, the thing I miss the most so far, and I'm sure you can say the same, is the relationships with people, right? And it might not just be the players, it might be the coaches, the janitors, the equipment staff. Did you have any favorite players or teammates or coachings that you had for all your stops?
I mean, so many. And last year, just to name a few, they ask. I don't really like to be the guy that's interviewing, And so when they asked me to do it, I say, look, if there's a strong personal connection that I have with somebody, I would love to do it. If there's not, then I don't know if that's my cup of tea. So last year, to be able to sit down with Tua and talk to him, be able to sit down with Josh Allen, be able to walk and talk with Mike Evans as he came into the stadium. There's some guys that I've got some great relationships with that really, hopefully that shows, when I do those interviews on camera.
Well, and that's something that Trey also, Ryan, your first game ever doing Thursday Night Football, do you remember what it was? Because it was with us. And do you remember it was the Chiefs versus the Chargers. You came out, and I remember you going into this quarterback huddle because we did a quarterback competition. You were like, guys, I really don't want to be annoying, but I just we got to get this on film. What are you doing? How has it been since then? Because as you know, I mean, right, you're part of the media now, but I thought you went about it really, really well.
Dude, that was so weird because I was standing outside of your guys' facility, hoping to be let in, it was just okay, I guess I'm on the outside now. But that one wasn't great because, as you know, Justin Herbert, aside from getting paid for doing these commercials, wants nothing to do with having his face anywhere. Yeah. So the whole gig was to go talk to Justin, a little throwing competition for fun, and as soon as the camera came on, he was like,
dude.
And I was like, well, this is going to make for great TV.
Yeah, well, Justin came in the quarterback room, and he was like, Chase, do you know Fitzpatrick? Because he wants to sit down with me and talk. And he was like, can you and Easton be there, and can everyone else be there? Because I really don't want to do it, but I think he's a good guy, so I want to do it. Dude. That was the exact conversation that went on.
And it was with the media staff there, it's okay, you guys know he's not going to talk, so why are we doing this? But it was we tried to make a 20-second clip out of it, but I felt so defeated after that. What do you do when the quarterback goes, and then as he walked off, he said, dude, sorry. I'm just go get paid for a couple commercials and, do your thing,
See, I think we all missed a golden opportunity here, Chase. Or you could have said, yeah, Fitzpatrick's a dick. Don't talk to
him. He's not, though. That's the thing. You're the nicest human being, in the world. And some quarterbacks can be like that. But, I mean, dude, you went about it really well. I thought it was awesome.
I've abstained from doing any more of those because that one was an absolute disaster.
Well, but you can only go up. So you start low so you can finish high. And let's finish high because I know we don't want to take too much of your time up. But I talk to a lot of people when they think about the game when they played, right? And they think about a certain way and they see it a certain way. And then they go into what you've gone into, media, broadcasting, and you see it differently. Looking at the game, like you said, as an outsider now, as opposed to someone that's inside the huddle, inside the white lines, putting the helmet on, knowing what happens, how different is your sort of appreciation or understanding of the game?
I'll say two things to that. One is when I stand, when we're at our little set and I'm watching these guys run around and hit, I'm like, how the hell did I do that for 17 years? I mean, it is absolutely crazy. It's such a vicious game. But the way that I prepare now, I like to watch the TV cuts, so those condensed version of the TV cuts, rather than the all 22. And if there's something I need to dive into with the all 22, Justin Fields, okay, he's struggling. We're going to have to talk about him in a couple weeks. I really need to dive into what's happening, what the concepts are. But in general, I'm trying to watch the game like the viewer watches it right now. And I'm trying to take away what I can, but by the way the viewer is also seeing it. So I think, when you first get into it, you want to be right all the time, and you want to make sure everything you say comes true. And that's not necessarily the best thing. The best thing is, I want to give a different perspective. I want to be entertaining. And, with that, if I'm going to throw a stat out or I need to watch the all-22, that's fine. But less stat heavy. People don't want to hear that. Just my observations can usually be backed up by stats. But if I'm observing something, I'm just going to provide that perspective to the viewer.
I think that's a great point because so many people that sort of make the transition from playing to being an analyst think that that's what they have to be. Yeah. Listen to him. Listen to the better beard, Chase. Listen to the better beard.
Chase, I had to
best
learn
advice
that
I've
last
heard.
year. I had to learn that last year. Like I'm sitting there, like okay, PFF or Next Gen Stats from Amazon. Like tell me how many passes he's thrown within 5 to 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. Like who cares, right? I mean, we're all observing and watching.
Yeah. They have people. They have people for that. Okay, your whole thing is because you see the game differently, and that's what makes it interesting for people. This is what I saw, as opposed to what like Teddy Bruschi once said. The greatest thing in the world. He said, if you take your eyes off the football, you'll learn a lot about football. And those are the perspectives that I think people want from you guys that have played the game forever. So, speaking of forever. 30 years of NFL experience in the league between the three of us. I mean, I think that's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
Between the three of us.
Chase, how many times did you go to the playoffs?
Oh, dude, I went. So I think we ended up going 8 out of 13 years.
See,
you're
hurting
awesome.
him. Why did you even answer that question? Because you know what he's going to say. You're hurting him right now.
Trey, say it for me. Trey, say it for me, Trey.
Big dog nut. Nothing.
No.
Zilch.
No, we have 8 years between the three of us. 8 years.
Oh,
of
yes.
playoff
Yes.
experience.
Sorry. Yes. 8.
Yes.
Sorry.
Super Bowl between the three of us. One Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah.
I did not take the bait. You are correct. 8 years of playoff experience quarterbacking the NFL between the three of us. But listen, even if you didn't get to the postseason, you went from a plucky 7th rounder to making commercials with Kevin frickin' Hart, man. Kevin Hart.
That's hilarious. That's
Hey,
amazing.
which by the way, I didn't know the magic of TV when we did that. I brought 2 of my daughters because they wanted to meet the guy from Jumanji, and I read the script. I said, "Oh yeah," and so we did an 8-hour shoot at the Rose Bowl, and Kevin Hart was not there. And my daughters, after the first hour, were like,
Oh my!
What are you, Dad? Where is he? Is he coming or not? Like, so I took a selfie with him because he was on set with us in Philly, and I said, "Look, I actually have met him. He is real."
There's Fitz magic and there's television magic, and Fitz magic is way better than television magic. I think that's what we've learned. Well, look, Ryan, keep killing it, man. We appreciate you joining us, and continued success, all right?
All right, thanks, guys.